So now that we've added a bunch of clips to our sequence, let's go over some of the basic editing tools in Premiere that allow us to bring it all together. In our sequence, there are a few ways to zoom in and make our clips in the sequence bigger and larger. One way is to zoom out of the timeline and zoom into the timeline, and we can do this by using this lower bar here and grabbing and pulling on these dots, and this zooms in and out horizontally. So the closer we go in, the more detail we'll see of the audio waveforms, and the more granular we get, where you're basically playing frames and able to see frames and be able to make more precise cuts in your video. Another way to do this, if we want to think about our shortcuts, is I always use the plus and minus key to just zoom in and zoom out. It's much easier than dragging and finding this if you're in the middle of a cut or manipulating something. And then another way to zoom in is to use these bars over here. You have one for video tracks, and if we grab that, we can make our videos larger. And then below that is the audio. I probably use this audio control for zooming a little more than I would for video, just because when we do that and then zoom in, it really lets you see where your waveforms are in case you want to make a cut so that you're not cutting on someone speaking. You won't hear the jump cut. Then the first tool that we have available to us, and is usually our default tool, is the select tool. That short key is V. If every time you hit V, you will revert back to this tool, which is very nice. And this tool does a few things. One, it allows you to move your clips around on your timeline. It also allows you to trim your clips. So if I go down here and I select this clip, I can actually drag this clip out. The clip that I put on there is a longer clip, and if there's more video on either side of this cut, this will allow me to extend that. And you can see there how my thumbnail is changing, so I can see actually on the timeline or on the sequence where I'm adjusting this video, which is helpful. And then I'm gonna Apple Z. If I ever do something in my sequence, Apple Z is a really nice command to have in your back pocket so that you can undo something that messes up your edit. And like, I just want to go back. Apple Z or Command Z on a Mac is a great little handy shortcut that you should just be using. You should know that by heart. Then on top of that, I want to show you a few other tools. We're not going to go over every one because they're a lot. And for basic edits, you don't need every one of them. This one I think is important. Would recommend memorizing this short key. This is Track Select Forward tool, and the shortcut is A. And when we select that, it allows us to select everything to the right of where our cursor is. And that's really helpful when you have a lot of video that you can't see because you're zoomed in, and it allows you to select everything to the right. Sometimes, say you're using our select tool, V, and you're trying to highlight everything. Like, cool, I highlighted everything. And then I want to drag it over. Wait a second, let me zoom out. Oh no, there was more video and more audio over here. What happened is I just overwrote an edit right here where I didn't highlight and drag everything over. This stuff didn't move. So let me Apple Z, undo. Great, so we fixed that. But if I hit A, and get that track select tool going, and then I hit that, look at that. I've highlighted everything all at once. So then I can grab everything from that point over and drag it over, but I know that I'm not overwriting anything to the right that I didn't know was there. And then the next tool is our razor tool, and that shortcut is letter C. And as you can see here, when you scrub over your footage on your sequence, it'll show you a little line that, and it goes over both video and audio, that if I click over a certain spot, let me zoom in there, we've made a cut. And I'm gonna hit A, and all right, I can show you, I've made that cut. Let me Apple Z, that cut is gone. The other thing you can do with the C tool, and this is much more accurate, and I suggest if you use this tool, use this method, is our playhead can actually be the point of reference when you want to cut. So what you do
too, where you get to
is you
kind of
find
come
the
up with
perfect
something
spot
from
you want to
scratch
cut with the
and
playhead.
see how it develops. And that creative process is also a huge part of it.
So I want to cut there. So what's nice about that is I know exactly where I'm cutting, and I'm cutting in a point where he's not talking. So that's key. If I just scrub over it with the razor blade tool, I could probably make a cut that might be what I want, but you know for sure this is exactly where you want to cut. So you just hover that razor tool right over your playhead and it highlights, and then you click and it's cut exactly where you had stopped on that frame. So I recommend for precise cuts, if you want to do that on your sequence, to use it that way. Now let's Apple Z. We just undid that. And I'm actually going to mute these tracks. You can mute your tracks on audio. You can also mute your video tracks if you wanted to. And look at that. It's gone. If you exported this, you would not have any video or audio. So be aware of that. The next tool we have available to us is the pen tool. And the pen tool can actually manipulate things on our sequence as well as our program monitor. So just quickly show you what it does in the program monitor. If I just keep making points, I'm basically creating a custom mask and a shape, which in later videos will show you why you'd want a mask and how that's manipulated. But if I undo all of that, what I really use the pen tool for most of the time is adjusting my audio. So in order to do this, you select your pen tool and then you can see this line here. This line is actually this track's audio levels. So I'm going to make a point. I'm going to want to make 2 points here, and then I want to make 2 points at the end. And then I'm going to go back. I'm going to hit V and go back to my select tool. And then we can grab these points. And basically what you're doing here is you're creating a fade in and a fade out so that the music or the voice comes in.
The story of a show for me really depends on whether I'm playing by myself, when I'm playing with a duo, trio, 4 people, something.
And then
but
it goes
there's
away.
Definitely something sexy.
And that's really helpful for music. And then, if you want this to happen faster or slower, you just use that select tool and you can drag these points around and manipulate them any way you want to. So those are just a few of the main editing tools available in Premiere to help you edit your videos. And we'll show you more in the next videos.